Matthew 16. We'll pick up the very familiar story of Peter's confession in verse 13. Now, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he was asking his disciples, "Who do people say the Son of Man is?" And they said, "Some say John the Baptist, and others Elijah, but still others, Jeremiah or one of the prophets." He said to them, "But who do you say that I am?" Simon Peter answered, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus said to him, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, because flesh and blood did not reveal this to you, but my Father who is in heaven." That is the highest moment of Peter's life. Every one of us could wish to have the Lord say to us, "What you have spoken is directly from heaven."
This is Catholicism's argument. The emphasis here is on Peter. And this gives rise to a line of elite authoritative leaders through the process of apostolic succession. The disciples didn't go away saying, "Wow, Jesus just made him the Pope."
In this video, we're going to be looking at Matthew 16, where it talks about the keys being handed over to Peter and how it has been misinterpreted by a huge denomination by the name of Catholics, who feel that Peter was the first pope. But as we all know, the Bible does not tell us that at all. So stay tuned and here's some truth.
Peter, and upon this rock I'll build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overpower it. I'll give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall have been bound in heaven. Whatever you loose on earth shall have been loosed in heaven. I mean, these are stunning identifications given to Peter. He is part of the foundation of the church. He is given the keys to the kingdom. That is to say, he can tell people how to enter the kingdom and what will cause them to be shut out of the kingdom. He is given that kind of delegated authority from God.
This is the passage that the Catholic Church bases the whole existence and the whole misconception that Peter is actually the first pope. When Christ says, "I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven," he is telling Peter, "I'm going to give you the gospel message to give to the people so they can enter into the kingdom of heaven." The gospel is the key, is the only way that people can get into heaven. And that is what Christ is telling Peter here. Not that you're going to build the church, or you're going to be the first pope, or you're going to be the first pastor, or whatever, and the church is going to be built on you. Christ did not build his church on a human. He built his church himself, not with any help from any human. We must understand that and be very clear about what Christ is telling us here.
This is Peter's high point. He is speaking from God, and that is God's own testimony. In an immediate contradiction to that, you come to verse 21. From that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be killed and be raised on the third day. Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, "God forbid it, Lord, this shall never happen to you." But he turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan." In the space of 6 inches, he goes from speaking for God to representing Satan. "You're a stumbling block to me, for you're not setting your mind on God's interest, but man's." This is the ultimate low point in Peter's life, from the high point to the low point in 2 adjacent passages. "Get behind me, Satan." Now, mark that Jesus said that to an apostle, the leading apostle, the apostle who would be an eyewitness to the resurrection, the apostle who would preach the first sermon in the founding of the church on the day of Pentecost. The apostle who would be the preacher through the first half of the book of Acts. Get behind me, Satan. That's strong language. And the Lord uses the verb upage. Be gone. It's a fierce rebuke. And it appears another place in Matthew, in the 4th chapter and the 10th verse, when Satan came to tempt Jesus, and Jesus said the same thing to the devil. Jesus said to Peter exactly what he said to Satan. And that's why he follows it up by saying, you are not setting your mind on God's interest, but man's. The most fierce rebuke, you have taken up the devil's agenda. The temptation was the same. What was Satan's temptation? To give to the Lord the kingdoms of the world without the cross, right? The crown without the cross, the kingdom without the cross. Bow down to me and I'll give you all those things. The devil is still saying that, and he's saying it to evangelicals.